Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Nerd Chat here on Electro Ninja's Lab. I am here with my fellow host,
I'm Jack.
and we are going to be talking about Pokemon because the freaking Pokemon, whatever it was called, Pokemon Presents happened earlier this week. So yeah, that was fun. A lot of people were disappointed, but I think that for what I feel like they're kind of like saving a lot of things right now. That's kind of what I'm getting because like it's the 29th anniversary and next year is going to be the 30th anniversary. So they might be trying to go big for that one. That's my thought. My original thought as to why it was so minuscule this time. I don't know.
Yeah, that was my thought too.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did some really big things for the 20th, the 25th, and then so that's my guess. They're since they have it's gonna be a big one. Let the just assume that they're probably gonna go for something big there. Um, but yeah, the big thing that I'm so the big thing obviously is ZA is coming out. But they also revealed champions. So do you remember anything about that at all from the direct?
Not really.
Okay, so that's basically going to be a battler. So you can bring any of your Pokemon from home into the game, and you can choose them. You'll be able to play this on your phone. You'll be able to play this on your Switch. It will basically allow people to play anywhere at any time with looks like any mechanics, and you'll probably be able to turn them on and off depending on which for like championships and shit like that.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So because they showed in the trailer a Mega facing off against a Terastallized. So I don't know. I'm kind of terrified, but at the same time, kind of ecstatic for it. I'm not really.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that it's such a weird thing, and like there's not much information about it at this point in time, so that's why I wanted to start off with talking about it. But I think the thing that I'm most excited about is that you'll be able to play this on not only your Switch, but you'll also be able to play it on your phone because everyone always has their phone on them, but not everyone always has their Switch on them. So that'll be nice, and like pretty much anyone who is a fan of Pokemon will be able to play. On top of the fact that even if you don't have a even for people who don't have Switches, I think that there's some rentals or something like that. There are going to be Pokemon that you'll be able to get in Champions, so you'll actually be able to still be in the competitive, or you'll be able to play with them. But you won't necessarily have to worry too much about necessarily having the games yourself. So everyone can basically play in battles and all that jazz. But other than that, there's not much details. We'll see exactly how that plays out as the time comes closer. But for now, it's looking fun. I'm kind of excited. Anyways, let's talk about ZA. Oh boy. So I guess the first thing to talk about is the starters. I don't think anyone expected those three. Do you think you saw anyone talking about those three?
No, nobody.
Yeah. Like I think like a lot of people were thinking like Chikorita, um freaking Snivy, and I'm forgetting which water type was like the most common. But I think probably Piplup was the most common that I saw. So I think it's funny because like I was not I didn't really see for like I could maybe have seen Chikorita showing up because but because it needed some love, but I don't think anyone ever really. I don't think anyone was expecting Totodile, like
Or Tepig.
or Tepig. Yeah, either of those. It was just like, what? Like Tepig is just.
Tepig gets so much unnecessary hate, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the same goes for Chikorita though. Like I think all three of these are probably like one. Like Totodile is probably the least hated of all of them.
It's true.
Because
and I will be picking Chikorita when I play.
fair. I'm not certain yet. I kind of want to see what the final evolution, the new final evolutions are going to be like. Because yeah,
I saw a thing that wondered if Chikorita was going to be Grass Fairy.
yeah, I saw that too. So I'm kind of,
Yeah.
I'm that kind of makes me wonder if like one of the others might be a dragon.
Ooh.
Like here, let me see.
Totodile.
Fairy type. All right, here we go. Fairy type. This I want to take a look at this. So, yeah. So they're like super strong. So they're strong against dragon. So I could see like maybe like Totodile being a dragon type. That could be interesting. But they also need to be weak to So probably it would be either poison or steel would be the other one. Huh. You know, that could be interesting. Maybe like a poison type Tepig, maybe?
Fire poison.
Yeah, fire poison Tepig. Or fire steel. Either one would work. And I could also see either way going with Feraligatr. And then Tepig being the dragon type. So I don't know. Like I'm looking at the type.
We're gonna get dragon type Emboar.
That would be fun, honestly.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't. But at the same time, like that would be interesting if that happened. Because
that's not gonna happen. It's a fucking pig.
yeah. But yeah, like the other possibility.
No one looks at a pig and thinks dragon type.
Like the other possibilities for what they could be is maybe like fighting dark instead of dragon. Fighting or dark, one of those two would be instead of the dragon, because dragon is just like it's so powerful, and it would just I don't know. The thing is like dragon and fairy are just like so powerful of types that it kind of like you really don't want to see it too often. So that's I don't know. That's why I'm kind of not certain on that. But it would be interesting if it was actually the case. I think in the pictures, yeah. So in the pictures that Chikorita has disarming voice as one of its moves. So,
I saw that.
Which I don't think it can learn anyways.
It can't. Not right now.
Yeah. Chikorita. So yeah, if we go to Chikorita, just in case, Control F, disarming. Yeah, I just did the quick search through Bulbapedia. It's not a learnable move, like even by TM. So that's. In fact, yeah, like looking through, like now that I'm looking at all the abilities that it can learn, like the only fairy type move it can learn at all is Charm. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see what exactly that is gonna entail, because I don't know. It's I don't know. Anyways, they didn't really reveal too much about like any new Pokemon, which I'm fine with that. That's not a big deal. But a few things that people are talking about is that we think that Looker's office was shown in the trailer. Yeah. So there could absolutely be some really fun stuff with Looker, which, let's be honest, that was one of the best parts of the post game for X and Y. I don't know if you ever did that stuff. Okay. But yeah, Looker was there, which Like, we don't see him too often. In most cases, we only see him, like, I don't know, once every blue moon or something like that. Like, he was in X and Y, he was in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and then I think he was, like, in one of the earlier games, probably Sinnoh. I don't remember. But then that's it. That's all we saw. So I don't know. So he's like, we think that people think that his office was in the trailer. We do see a shopping mall, which I imagine that there's probably a lot of those throughout the town, throughout the city.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get to customize our character, which I think this will be the first Legends game that we're able to fully customize our character, right? Or were we able to in ZA or in Arceus?
We were not.
Yeah. So, which, I mean, that makes sense because Kalos was always, like, super, was the first one to be dealing with customization. So yeah, we'll probably be able to fully customize our character, which I really hope that's the case because, like, I think the outfits are kind of interesting, but they also, like, I don't think I could stand going through an entire game with that outfit. I really don't. What do you think?
I think there's going to be a lot of customization just because X and Y was the first time we got to look at our characters like that.
Yeah. And then I said this in my live stream about it, and then I told you about it. I think our character is, like, significantly older than they've ever been in any Pokemon game. I don't know if they're necessarily an adult. I personally think they are. You were not too convinced with that, right?
I'm not convinced, but I honestly don't know.
Yeah. Like, I looked through a few different things, and like, obviously there's no way knowing, because your character could be older, your character could be younger, but Pokemon has the Legends Arceus was significantly more mature than, like, the rest of the Pokemon games. I would I think the only Pokemon media that is probably more mature than Arceus is the original manga. And that's because the original manga was, like, much aimed at a much older audience than the main Pokemon series. I don't know if have you ever read that? It's kind of a trip.
I have not.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Also, how do you feel about the wild areas in the city for how we're going to be catching Pokemon?
I feel like that checks out. We knew it was going to take place in just the city. We weren't surprised by that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how we're going to catch Pokemon. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. One of the things that kind of makes me wonder is, like, how many of these areas are there? Is it large portions of the city? Because, like, if we look at the map, we can kind of see a few different interesting things. There's several parks throughout the city, which I 100% think that those are going to be main wild areas. And then we also saw that there are some streets that are going to be wild areas. But beyond that, we really don't know too much. I don't know. We can. I think we can see where the Hotel Z is on the map. There's, like, this little area where a Fletchling and a Fletchinder are kind of hanging out. I think that is where the hotel is. Um, just because there's like it's a little enclosed area and there's a bigger building inside there, and that's also really close to the train station, which if that's going to be like our main base of operations, of course it's going to be right next to the train station. So there's that. And then I don't know. I there's like another thing that I'm kind of wondering about is like what is going on with all of the buildings, because there's actually several large buildings that have been added to Lumios. Like obviously there's the headquarters of the people who are going to be involved with the reconstruction and all that. Then there's this place up to the north, and then there's the museum, I think is what that is. Also somewhat north. So I don't know. And then obviously Lumios Tower is probably gonna be like a main centralized location. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like the pictures on the map are probably really important areas. I don't know. Oh, what do you think about the Pokemon Center? Did you see the picture of that?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So, the Pokemon Center is somewhat indoors, but it's also somewhat outdoors. It's kind of basically it feels much more contained than what we saw in Scarlet and Violet, but it also feels more open than like any other Pokemon Center to date. Because
Interesting.
yeah, most of the like pretty much every Pokemon Center previously was indoors, except for right, yeah. So every single one was indoors except for in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and then in Arceus we had the tents, all over the place. So that was so on the open world. You're basically not necessarily, since you're going to be going into the Pokemon Center so often, you're not going to be like reloading the map or anything. And I think that's kind of like what they're planning with that. But I also think, based off of what I'm seeing, I kind of think that several of these places are still going to be are going to have interiors. Because I really don't want it to be like the same situation with what happened with Arceus, where there's no interiors. Or not Arceus. In Scarlet and Violet. Yeah. Because there were some interiors, but it was really only in the cities that you had any interiors. And it was very, very minor. And only like a few specific buildings. Mostly like restaurants, if anything, in any of the towns. And then there was the big one, and then there was the big place at the main city. Well, both of the main cities, I guess. And that's it. So I don't know, that felt weird to me. But it looks like there's a chance that like all of the like the different places where you're going to be buying your clothing, where you're going to be going to restaurants and stuff like that, those look like they could have interiors, but I'm not certain exactly how much of an interior they're going to have. I mean, the train station is also looks like it could be an interior, but it also might not be an interior. I
don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah. Also, I think it's funny that there is a train station. Like, obviously, it looks like you're coming from the train station to actually arrive in Lumio City. But it kind of makes me wonder if you're going to be able to use that train station to maybe, like, go to certain cities, or certain locations. And that way you're not, specific, like, I think you're still going to be mostly stuck in the city. But I think that there's also, with the fact that they have a train station, that kind of makes me think that you could still leave the city, even if it's like much smaller areas or something.
That's true.
I don't know. It's such a weird idea. I don't know. Also, how do you feel about being in the future?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like it's not it's not even that far in the future though. Is the other thing. It's just like it literally feels like they're making it just is making amends for there not being a Z game. They just never, since they never made that, they're making amends for it, and that's what this is, rather than it being like and maybe like only a few years in the future. Like obviously the only characters that we've seen so far in the trailer that are actually from the main game, from the original game, is that of AZ, but AZ is immortal. So we don't know how long it's been. So it makes me wonder if it's like these all of the if there are going to be characters from the previous games that have grown up a little bit. Maybe some characters will have died. I don't know.
That'll be interesting for sure.
It really will be. And there's not really, even if we look at the like details that they might have like missed in what they presented, that they didn't want to show us. Like nothing is really striking me as as like someone who is clearly related to one of the previous characters in X and Y. Like I feel like since we are seeing Looker's office, that could probably be that is it could be Looker, or it could be someone else, because Looker did have an assistant when in X and Y, I believe. So let me look through this really quick. If I can find his office really quick. It was like a really quick blink and you miss it moment, unfortunately. So it was probably after the Mega Evolutions. Oh, it wasn't in the trailer. It was in the other video. That's right. Okay. Okay. That's whatever. I'm not going to look for it right now. But I don't know. I mean, I it's kind of, it was such a small amount of information. It's really hard to really say what is new and what is different. Like we do see we do have a mini map. Which thank God, because that was going to be really annoying if we didn't have that. So that'll be helpful. But as for like the rest of this, the information, they really haven't given us much. You know, like it's a different battle mechanic. It's different. It's a very different way of battling, because it looks like it's you basically can shoot. You can choose your moves a lot more easily. You're gonna be. It's basically based on. It's a lot more active, I would say. You're gonna be moving around, and that's gonna help with controlling your Pokemon, and so on and so forth. I do think they didn't show any ride Pokemon, though. What do you, how do you feel about that? I'm concerned a little bit. If they
I don't
didn't,
know.
I don't know. Like, I feel
I
like
hadn't
there
really
has
thought
to
about
be
it.
ride Pokemon, at least to some degree. But I think it might just be Go-Go, and that's it.
That could be true.
Or actually, I think that it's going to be an evolution of Go-Goat. That they found out a way to evolve it further, and that's going to basically be what you're going to be dealing with.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, what do you think about Quasartico?
I haven't seen it.
Well, that's the company. That's the company that's rebuilding it. Do you think they're gonna be? I feel like they're gonna be bad guys.
Oh yeah.
Like, they're the ones who are rebuilding the city, but like, come on, there's no way they're not the bad guys. Like, at least to some degree. Like, granted, in Legends Arceus, the Galactic Squad or whatever it was fucking called, I don't remember what the name. The Galactic Expedition Team or whatever they were. That was pretty. They were actually the good guys for the most part. Like, they did do some stuff that was kind of mean, and that kind of still makes them kind of the evil team, but they're not really evil. Like, they did some stupid shit, but they didn't. Yeah, you know what I mean. But I don't know. One of the things that kind of stands out to me is that they really didn't they didn't do too much when it came to Jet's design. She just looks like she's the CEO. Big whoop. That's not that big of a surprise. But I love Vinny's design because he is like this big, bulky guy, and then he has these two little things up in his hair with a Baneri and a Pancham head, and I'm just like, he's like the he's the security guard for, or no, wait, he's the secretary of the CEO, and it's just like, he's this big muscular guy, but you know that he's got to be like a teddy bear. And I'm kind of wondering if he's gonna be like a I feel like he might be the good guy, but Jet, I feel like I can't see her being a good guy. Like, that face, it's just something about her is just screaming at me, bad guy, bad guy, bad guy. So I don't know. Ugh. Like, yeah. Okay, so let me read what it says about her. Jet is the CEO of Quasartico Inc., a large corporation driving Lumios's urban development plan with the aim of shaping the city into one that belongs to both people and Pokemon. It seems she hopes to deepen the bond between Pokemon and people. I think the word seems is concerning. That's a big concern to me. I feel like she has to be a bad guy. I don't know. And then Vinny is a large man who wears sunglasses. He works at Quasartico as Jet's secretary. He always seems busy and has a reputation for being a fast worker. So, I don't know. There's a part of me that is like, imagining that they're going to do something with those two characters where he genuinely thinks that she wants to help, but she's actually like planning to do something truly evil, like maybe trying to use the ultimate weapon again, like freaking Lysander. And then Vinny is gonna be like, he thinks that she just wants to help, and then he's gonna find out that she wants to do this, and he's gonna turn on her to and basically start helping us or something. Because Zygarde is the order Pokemon, so I just can't see it doing something. I don't know. I feel like it has to do something special.
Fair.
So I don't know. It's hard to say. Also, I think that there's going to be another form for Zygarde. Like, obviously we have the 10%, the 50%, and the complete form. But I feel like there's got to be something even bigger than complete form. And it's going to be a freaking massive thing. Like, maybe that's like a true power or some shit like that. I don't know. But also, I'm loving AZ's look. Like, he's looking so much happier now that Floette is back with him, and I'm so happy for him. I'm so glad that he's found a place that he can call his own with the with Hotel Z, and I feel like he's just there. He's not necessarily going. I feel like he's going to be like a good mentor to us. He's not necessarily going to be too. He's not going to be broody as much as he was in frickin' X and Y. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I'm also kind of wondering what's going to be going on with your rival. Because there's so little information about them. But, yeah. I don't know. Let's see here.
Sorry. Yeah. Hard to say.
I don't know. Well, I mean, the rival is like one of the least developed characters anyways, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's just not that much to deal with. I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking back at Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile now, and I'm just like, there's not much that can kind of hint that even hints to me what they could be doing. Like they say something about lightening the mood even when the mood is hostile. That makes like the stuff about Chikorita does make me think even more. Yeah, it could be a fairy type. But when it comes to like Tepig and Totodile, I'm not really figuring out too much, except for the fact that Totodile is Totodile, and will often bite even its trainer. So make sure not to intervene, inadvertently turn your back to it. I don't know. That could make me think. That kind of makes me think a little bit maybe Dragon or Dark. And then yeah, Tepig. I can't quite put my finger on what it could be. I think a lot of people are kind of pissed off with Dark and Fighting types, though, when it comes to the starters. So I can't imagine them doing anything with those two. So, and also, I'll say this now, Tepig should stay on all fours this time, because that was one of the that's one of its big complaints, is that people are pissed that he goes up on his hind legs.
I can see that.
So, I think that obviously Pig Knight is probably going to be the same, but maybe Emboar is going to go back down on all fours or something like that.
I call that highly unlikely.
It probably will be unlikely, because yeah, it did go up on all fours pretty quickly. Or up on two legs pretty quickly. I don't know. But yeah, like if we look back at like Arceus stuff, this is about as much information as we got for that as well. Let me go to their website. Let's see here. Video games. Let's see here. Can I find Legends Arceus? No, of course not. That would be too simple. Pokemon Legends. I know I misspelled that, but whatever. Let's see here. Yeah, the Pokemon Legends. That's just giving me. That's taking me to ZA. Is this it? No, that's the Nintendo official site. Okay, so I guess they got rid of that site, the Arceus site. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I don't know. They didn't really reveal much for that either when it first came out. So, I don't know. It's weird. It is very weird. So what do you think about the idea that the next Legends game after ZA will have Snivy and then the other and then Litten and whatchamadoodle? What was the last one? Poplio. Litten and Poplio as its starters.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about the next Legends game, honestly,
Yeah.
because we just got this one.
Yeah. I don't think it's really something that we need to discuss or really think about too much because like we said we're barely into the lifetime of ZA. So we're probably not going to see another Legends game until at least Gen 10. So so yeah, so that's one thing. And then after Legends, after Gen 10, then we would probably get that. But a lot of people are already thinking like because of the fact that we don't have, we started off with one Pokemon from each of these 3 generations from Alola, Alola, Johto, and Unova. So for the last, and since this one is doing 2 Johto and 1 Unova, that means that the next that the next one is going to be 2 Alola and the last Unova starter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it doesn't really make that much sense to me, because I feel like they probably are choosing starters based on like things that they feel are important to the story, and so I think that there's probably a lot more to the Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile things than we're necessarily expecting, because obviously like the three starters in Arceus each had something to do with the Sinnoh region, and they're all kind of connected to like samurais and shit. So these 3 might have something very important to do with what is going to be going on in this. What exactly that is, we may not know. And we might not be able to figure it out until we actually see the final evolutions. So I don't know. I really don't. But I guess until then, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. So yeah, let me actually look at this really quick. So if we go to Dragon after Fairy. if we go to... Okay, let's go back to Fairy. Let's see here. You know... Yeah, I think... If we are going to get a dragon type... I think that if we get a dragon type for the if we get fairy and dragon for each of those Pokemon, I think the last one has to be steel, and that would be the closest type triangle. But even that one, it doesn't necessarily work. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. Anyways, I think that's probably a good spot for us to end it.
Yeah.
We'll have to think some more about it and figure out exactly where it's going to go from there. But yeah, Legends ZA, it's been announced and it's coming in late 2025. I imagine
excited.
we are very excited. I imagine that we're probably going to be getting trailers and more information throughout the year. So look forward to that. We will probably every time that there is something new about ZA, we should probably discuss it in a. We'll probably be discussing it in a nerd chat. Even if it's like a small thing, we'll probably like talk about it briefly and then move on to whatever our main topic is. That's my theory, anyways. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this nerd chat. I have been Electro Ninja. He's been Jack, and we will see you guys next time. But on.